We call the Marshall County Fiscal Court meeting to order this day of January 15th, 2015. We want to welcome everybody. We're glad you're here. We will go to guests first thing, and we have Donnie Wortham here from the Animal Control. She's going to give us a report.
Hello, everybody. My name's Don Wortham. I'm with the Marshall County Animal Control. I'm a volunteer. And being in the animal control, I noticed we have a radio inside the car. But when we exit the car, though we're not law enforcement, it's good to have a radio on your side if you get mauled. A call I went on a couple weeks ago, they said it was a cow that rode. When I got there, it was a bull. So that was pretty challenging. But I'm a police officer. I retired out of Mayfield, and my chief, Brian Morrison, he had a bunch of old radios in a box, and he donated them to me so that I could donate them to Marshall County and wherever they could be utilized. The radio, and I think the sheriff will back me up, this radio without an external mic is like $1,800. So I got them all for free. I went down to Motorola and checked with them to get mics, antenna, and a new battery pack. And it's like 9 radios, maybe a few more, but he gave me a price to do all the radios for $620. So for refurbishing these radios, you'll actually only have $620 of all of them, which that's not even half of what one of these would cost brand new. And I wanted to donate them so that we would have them, and through the sheriff and you, madam, you guys distribute them wherever they're needed. And I think it would be beneficial to have one on your side if you're, getting out of the car.
I agree.
But that's it. I just wanted to let you know, and I do have a price written down. They gave me a receipt. I had not told them to start working on them yet until I get the approval. But they do have them.
Does that include the programming?
Programming and
Everything?
everything.
Yeah, you can't beat that.
Yeah, because they're,
That's a
what
good
it
deal.
is.
Yes, by a long shot.
Sounds like a good deal to me.
By a long
They-
shot.
Each one of these Kenwoods has 19 channels. So what I did is I had this one, I paid for this one out of my pocket and had it just deleted of everything, and I had the Marshall County Dispatch put in it. Now this one, it's got KSP, it's got everything. And they said that they will delete everything, and the channel that the sheriff tells us that he wants in this radio is what will get put on it, so that we don't overlap with deputies or anything like that.
That's what I want to be sure. We work with Kevin to be sure you got the channels on there you want.
We've already got it set up to where what we call our backup channel now is the old analog narrowband. And I don't mind them being on that at all, because that won't interfere with our digital signal for police traffic. So that's the perfect place for them to be, and I don't mind them having that frequency at all, none
That was my
whatsoever.
only question,
Good.
if he's checked it out with you.
Yeah,
and it's
it
not gonna
won't
with
interfere a
law
bit. Matter of fact,
enforcement.
it'd be very helpful to them, I think, by doing that.
And we definitely don't want to interfere with the
Right.
deputies, because, that the calls they have and everything, we don't want to be on there going, hey, we've got a dog, and they've got a shooting incident. So, prioritize, definitely. So you want to have just a channel you can use, but it will not conflict with the emergency ones. But that's it, that's all I have.
That's 9 radios, you say?
I've got Motorola's and I've got Kenwood. I didn't get the exact count, but I think it might be like 19 radios.
Okay, I mean, but you're talking about the expenditure of $620 for
$620
9 of them,
For, it's 8 or 9.
convert over?
Yeah, because they're the Kenwoods and they're the ones that are digital. So these are the better ones.
Okay.
The other ones, they're not digital, and all they have is 2 channels. but I checked them, I charged them, and you put it on channel 2, and you can talk to each one of those radios, but it does not come up on dispatches. So, like, someone that can use that radio that's not in an emergency situation, but, you know, is out and about and needs to talk to the workers, they
Right.
can use those
Right.
radios.
Okay. But that proposal, that $620 will,
It'll do all the
All
Kenwoods, it'll
the
do all the
9 of them or so.
Kenwoods. And these are the most important ones, because these are the ones that, you know, and at a later date, when we're not using them, we can donate them to the sheriff's department, and he can actually, because it's got 19 channels, they can do what they need with them.
Gentlemen, what's your pleasure?
Well, we got somewhere to pull those dollars, Emily.
Yes, sir.
Okay, I'd make a motion that we go forward with getting these radios refurbished for $620.
second that motion.
All right, motion and second. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you so much, Donna. We appreciate
Thank
that.
you for
And
your
I'm
time.
glad you all have those when you're going out in the dark of night.
Yes,
Wow.
ma'am. Thank you for your time.
Okay, now I think we have some Kentucky Lake Motor Speedway representatives who want to present us their 2015 schedule. Welcome.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm David Green with the Kentucky Lake Motor Speedway. This is DJ Irvin. First of all, I want to thank the late Judge Miller and the Fiscal Court from last year for helping us, supporting us in getting the racetrack back in operation. We had a successful year. We staged 20 race programs, and we lost a good many of them to the weather. That's always the case. And that's the case with this schedule that we have here. It calls for 37 nights of racing. If we get 25 of those in, we'll be happy. You always lose some to the weather, that's just a given. This starts much earlier than we did last year and lasts longer than we did last year. And if the weather's the same as last year, we won't get to run those races because it won't be fit for it. But anyway, what we want to do is to give you guys the complete schedule. And I think Melanie's passing out copies of that now. And some of the things on here are indicative of the success that we had last year. We have, at the request of some of the major sanctioning bodies, such as the World of Outlaws Late Model Series, the Mars Racing Series, the Neesmith Racing Series, and the United States Auto Club Sprint Cars, they have requested dates on our schedule. And so, you know, we've reestablished the track as a as a place where competitors want to race and spectators want to come and watch it. We hope to be able to accommodate these folks. There are 5 Friday dates on here. Our entertainment permit that we were granted last year gives us permission to race on Saturdays. There was a mechanism in place where we could request variances from the restrictions of that. We did not do any Friday racing last year. At the request of World of Outlaws, the Mars Series, and the Neesmith Series, we are requesting a couple of Friday, Saturday night race weekends. Again, to have these folks coming to us is a good thing. It shows the importance that the racing community is granting to our track and our operation. One thing I would like to also add to that is in the event of inclement weather with one of these special events for one of these touring series, we don't have control over when they come to visit us, and we also don't have any control over when they may wish to come back if an event is rained out. So what we'd like to do is to get permission to work with them on a rescheduled date, and it may not even be possible to reschedule a lost date. But if it is possible, we'd like to have a little bit of flexibility to work with those sanctioning bodies and bring them back on a Friday, Saturday, or on a date that we did not request at this time permission to race. We would just like, if y'all could work with us on that. We think we established our credibility last year. We averaged finishing our race programs more than an hour ahead of the 11:30 curfew. We finished as much as 2 hours ahead of our curfew. We finished that one so early that we were actually a little bit worried that maybe the fans wouldn't think they got their money's worth of the show. But the feedback that we've gotten from fans and competitors is that our policy of trying to run a tight program and get it over with as quickly as possible pleases them as well as us. We're there all day. We're ready to go home. We don't want to be there any later than possible. We're paying an exorbitant light bill for every extra hour we operate. We're paying extra money to Sheriff Byers, the deputies who are on duty there, the ambulance personnel that are on duty. So we don't want to be there any longer than necessary. We even got some compliments from some of our critics, some of our neighbors who would really wish we weren't making all that noise over there. So we feel like we've got a good track record, and in that respect, we'd like to ask that our curfew be pushed back to midnight. Not so we can race to midnight, but so that we can race to 11:32 or 11:33 if there's some kind of conditions that happen that unavoidably delay us, and so we're not having to operate under that sword of Damocles. For some of these major events, such as our Bluegrass Nationals, last year we were granted an extension to midnight. We met that by several minutes. For our major events this year, we'd like to ask that we get an even more lenient curfew, because there'll be a large number of cars there. There'll be more likelihood of some kind of event happening that delays the program. Again, not because we want to be there till 12:30, but because we just don't want to have to shut the doors if something is within 10 laps of being finished when the clock strikes midnight. We'd like to be able not to turn into a pumpkin at that point. And that's for the special events only. That's for those two-night events, those that are highlighted in yellow on the schedule that you have.
Are those special events the Friday and Saturday nights?
The Friday and Saturday night. There's one other Friday night race that we have requested permission. That's the 9th event of the schedule on May the 1st. And the reason for that is because Paducah International Raceway already has a Lucas Oil Late Model Series race scheduled for Saturday. They did the same thing last year. We communicated with them. We thought we could race on Friday night, perhaps if we could get permission from Fiscal Court. They said they intended to run both nights, so we just took the weekend off. As it turned out, they did not race on Friday. We just lost the weekend.
I would just like to echo David's comments, and I know that is in the 3rd district, and as most of you know, those people are very passionate to live on that hill near that racetrack, and in my opinion, for good reason. But as far as the being over it first 2 times at with the 11:30 curfew, being over it 16 minutes till 10, the first out of the gate, and I stood in those people's driveways and listened when not at the track, but the very nothing but compliments the way y'all came out of the gate.
We're gratified with that. We don't want to be a bad neighbor. We feel like we have a legal right to do that activity. We understand that it makes more noise than they wish they had to put up with, and we try to minimize that.
Commissioners, I documented every race for that reason, because of the controversy. And I concur with him. I don't remember any time that they went over their time limit. They were very timely. They was always there.
There was one.
There was just one, but
Yeah,
there was.
I got one
call. Phones burned up.
But the issue for that one, you did have an injury, if I'm not mistaken. And, that goes without saying, because that's what delayed that. But other than that, they were right on it every single time. Matter of fact, ahead of time, just like he said, so.
Yeah, the one
I don't know
incident,
if that means
Jeff,
anything coming from me, but I did document every single race they had.
the one incident Jeff referred to, the ambulance had to leave the track for an emergency call. And our insurance underwriters and our own policy and just good plain common sense tells us we can't continue racing when we don't have emergency personnel on hand to attend to an accident that might happen. So, for that reason, we were about 7 minutes past our 11:30 curfew that one time. And Judge Miller called me on Monday morning and took me to task for that.
I'm sure. And the way I understand it, 11:30 was the agreed upon time. Now, we had different members in court at that time, so I need to ask these members, plus me, that, what is your feeling on this? Is this something we need to address now or discuss?
I think from my standpoint, it went very well last year. I don't know. I know this was agreed on at 11:30, and that worked very well. Now, of course, they're wanting additional time now, so I'm not
And how many
sure.
times is this that we're looking at? 12:30? Is that the time you said?
There would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, about 9 races. I could give you a detailed list of that, of the times that we would ask for an extended curfew when we think we're gonna have an excessive number of cars and possibly a longer running program. Because there's a limit to how early we can start based on we have to water the track down. If we start in the middle of the day, the track's gonna dry out, and it won't be fit to race on by the time the evening gets there. Otherwise, we would just start earlier.
It's my understanding that you're asking to go from 11:30 to 12,
Across the
not
board.
9
That's
races,
correct.
but every race.
For every
Every
race.
race.
Right.
But didn't he mention 12:30 on
Well,
Saturday?
12:30
extensions for some of the bigger
12:30 for some of the
races, as far as
special events where we would have an excessive car count or a large number of laps to run. And again, let me emphasize, this is not so we can push our program to the extent of that. It's to get us out from under the pressure of the earlier deadline. If we have a midnight deadline, then we don't have to sweat if we're coming down to 10 laps to go and 11:30 comes on. We can go over that without fear of it being hit with a death penalty sentence. And I think we've demonstrated that last year, that we want to run the
And
program.
you did, you had a good
Yeah.
record from everything I was
Yes, ma'am.
told and
Thank you.
understood. Congratulations on that.
Thank
We
you.
just want to make sure that goes this year, and that we
That's a-
have the people there as contented with what they got last year.
Yes, ma'am.
This year.
Like I said, that's our policy, and we did our best to convince fiscal court of that going into the season last year, that we did not want to be out there all night, all hours of the morning, early morning. I ran at a race in Honewall, Tennessee one night where at 2 o'clock in the morning, we still hadn't run our preliminary races. And I laid down on the trailer and fell asleep. I was ready to go home. Nobody wants to do that.
No. Is this the entertainment permit that goes with this? Is that tied in with that, the times, or is it?
Yes, the times are
Okay.
set in that permit.
So if we change the time, what kind of?
Well, in the past, if there was an upcoming matter, then sometimes there was there were variances issued. My concern here, is overall, increasing at every race and then on several weekends as well, another night, may be such a big change that, you're asking. I mean, I think you might need to have a public forum.
Public
just
comment, I
like
was
you did
concerned that we
for
might
the
have to
original
do
permit.
that.
I'm at this time not prepared to vote for that extension whatsoever. I mean, I represent the people that, the 3rd District that live
You
out
need
there,
to
and,
get some
and
feedback.
they are very passionate, and I can tell you what their feedback will be, and it would be more palatable to me and I don't understand, that's why I'm trying to get a grasp on, I don't understand if we went over, or you all went over one time for 7 minutes, while there would be a concern that we needed to bump it up in the first place from 11:30 to 12 o'clock and add that 30 minutes. I would rather you come back with the exception and us grant forgiveness for 7 minutes and one. I mean, you all performed very admirably.
We didn't get a whole lot of
before.
forgiveness for that.
No, I understand that,
Nor did we.
but we've also got to be fair to the people that live in that vicinity of that racetrack and what they've gone through. They've been very understanding, and like I say, they're very passionate about that. In the 3 years that the track, did not operate, and then you all come in and do the job that you all did, which is very commendable and did an excellent job. And we worked with those people that lived on that hill out there by that racetrack, and I had talked to some of them after the first couple of races, and they were very pleased. Not that they wanted you to necessarily be there, but we're working together to try to satisfy a compromise to satisfy both parties. But I'm not prepared to increase, just personally, one vote. I'm not prepared to do that at this time.
Do you
with-
think then that we should schedule a public forum on this before
Well,
addressing it?
That's what I wondered. I mean,
I
if there's
think
no
it's such a
change, I don't think
substantial-
if there's no change, I don't think there was any need to, but if there's that much change, I don't know,
Yeah, if you're considering this much of a change, I think that would be the
I
best
think we're
practice.
opening ourselves up for a lot of negative criticism if we would approve that without the public forum.
Oh, I'm
Bunch.
not gonna act on that at all, but my question to everybody else that has a vote is why, with one violation of last year of 7 minutes, why would you even consider changing it and adding the 30 minutes to the schedule?
We're also adding a 5th class to our program this year.
I understand you ran 4 classes last time, but, you know, I say 10 o'clock, before 10 o'clock on 11:30 deadline, you were through, or though I know the first, when I was doing the same thing Kevin was doing, I was tracking the time, and it was, you know, dead quiet most of the time before 10 o'clock.
Right.
And I know there can be exceptions and so forth, but I don't think we need to reinvent the wheel here, and with one 7-minute violation of, you know, in the whole year, that you're going to change the, I think a lot of thought was given into that, and a lot of effort went into the public hearings, and,
And I do know that Judge Miller was adamant about the 11:30,
right.
and he was happy with that time. I'm with you. We'll just, I think we need to get this addressed with the
Table it
public.
and,
Table it, we've got a little time before March, at the first race in March.
You know, if there's times that, and I know you're talking about big-time racing when you're talking about the World of Outlaws coming in and so forth, and, you know, if you need a variance there, I think that's the way to do it, instead of just, you know, blanket the whole thing with 30 minutes, because, you know, what I'm gonna hear from the people that I represent, and rightfully so, if you go from 11:30 to 12, you know, next year is it gonna be 12:30, those are the things that I'm gonna get, and that would be my concern also, but, you know, they're very pleased that you all have operated in the manner that you all have operated in, the people that
So far,
live
we
there.
proved all the presumptions wrong. Our feet were held to the fire
Right.
because of the sins of the previous operators that track.
They don't like you being out there, don't get, you know, they're not tickled that you're there,
Right.
but you have been a good neighbor, a better neighbor than in the past.
We
and-
feel like we have a
and-
right to
and-
be there.
Right, and you do have a right to
there's
be
no-
there.
There's no zoning
Absolutely.
restriction that prevents us from being there.
Absolutely.
We
You
feel like
have-
we
you
have a
have-
right to be there, and
make a
again, I
living.
think we proved all of our skeptics, you know, dead wrong. We've gotten the program over with, and all we're asking for here is some relief from the stress of having to be done at the stroke of 11:30.
Would we like to set up a forum date on this then, in the next week, 2 weeks?
You mean a public hearing or something?
Public hearing.
I'm not for that.
No?
I'm not for that.
How would you like to address this?
I mean, you hear from the other two commissioners, like I say, I just stated that I'm for a one-time 7-minute overage. I'm not for reinventing the wheel. I'm just for sticking with the schedule that was agreed upon, that Judge
and
Miller
allow
agreed upon.
variance as needed, if they want to request a variance for the larger races on a case-by-case basis.
In other words, leave the 11:30 as it is and only do variances on those larger races?
I think until the time arises that you have more than one 7-minute hiccup, that you know, that's, I mean, I don't know why you'd go in there and go through the process and,
think-
with one 7-minute, you know, bump in the
I
road.
agree. How do you feel?
I agree with that.
I-
We move to just table the request until later, and if we want to review it or not, we can make that
Well, we haven't
decision
had a
at a
lot of
later
time
date.
to look at this, so
No,
maybe we need to
and,
look at that.
Maybe we can go back to constituents and see what the people think. Primarily Doc, I mean, he's got the folks
I'll
down
get
there
calls.
by the
He'll
race.
get calls.
Oh, yeah, no,
Yeah.
I got, that night, I got my call. I know the family very well that gets upset, and have worked with, actually at the plant with David, so.
Well,
I got a call that night as well, and it was okay, you know, that wasn't any problem.
Okay, then I think what we'll do is we will review this. We will maybe discuss this again at our February 17th meeting,
Okay,
if you would like to come back.
We'll be here.
And we do appreciate your business being here. It is a boon for Marshall County. We are aware of that. But we do also want to take care of those folks
We do
that are
too.
so,
We have nothing to gain by being a bad neighbor to anybody.
no, absolutely. We appreciate what you've done in the
Thank
past
y'all.
for us.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now we have a couple of representatives from Sanitation District Number 2 in Draftonville. I'm not sure which one's going to speak. Mr. Travis?
Yes.
Okay.
Randy Travis, chairman of the sanitation district, and Alan Hart is my licensed wastewater handler. Of course, some of y'all are new members on the board, and I've been up here quite often begging for money. And y'all were so gracious to loan us some money back 5 years ago to build our new sewer plant in Draffenville. And as you know, the old plant was condemned, and we had a moratorium, so nobody could build in Draffenville and be connected to the sewer. Since we've got a new plant, we've been able to see some growth, McDonald's and some other things out there. The problem we've got is we've been anticipating more growth. And the growth of going down to the high school, picking up Christian Fellowship, County High School, and some other ones to pick up the flow. We've got a new plant, but we have no revenue coming in. That plant is twice as much overhead running it as the old plant. So we keep getting, in the red. And the problem is, it's 5 years old now, and Kevin, we've had some vandalism out there. We've had people steal. We had somebody shoot through our big tank. Today it was 10 degrees, and I don't know what kind of gun they got shot. They shot right through the tank. So we need a fence, but I'm not out here for the fence to keep people out of it. But we owe some money. We got to repair some valves that have been vandalized. Somebody stole all of our extension cords and let everything freeze up. When we had our heat tape out there, it's hid, nobody knows it, nobody really can see the plant, but we need about $25,000. Y'all may not know it, but y'all are in the sewer business. I fall under the fiscal court, and if we don't pay our bills, we don't have enough revenue. I mean, and I can't raise the rate. I mean, we're above average now in Jacksonville, and we're mainly made up of restaurants. And that's the hardest water there is to treat. And we have to constantly stay on them to empty their grease traps. And it's a nightmare. I mean, we need more residential people. We don't have the money to build the lines to run to pick up residential people. So we are out of compliance. The Division of Water is kind of, they understand what's going on. They're not, but we could be fined, and we don't even have the money to pay the fine. So I'm here asking if the court would consider helping us out. And I know you can't make the decision today, I'm not asking you to. I wish y'all would consider it and help us, because if not, then we will be coming back. But I don't know what capacity, I've been doing this for 20 years on the sewer board out there, and it's a struggle. We've been promised grant money. We haven't received any grant money. Our plant's getting a little, it's 5 years old now, getting some age on it, and it just costs more to run that plant with the same amount of revenue we've had for the last 15 years. So, if y'all would consider that, believe me, y'all were so graceful enough to build it for us, so we can't thank y'all enough for that. We need growth. We need sewer countywide. We need growth everywhere, and it's getting where the state is getting stricter and stricter on wastewater plants, making us spend more money to treat the water so it doesn't contaminate our groundwater. So that's what I'm here for, and y'all consider it, and maybe I can come back the next time and talk to y'all about it. But we've got to have something. Something's got to change. We've either got to get some grant money to get new line extensions and get more revenue, or we need to give it to the city of Benton, North Marshall Water, or somebody.
That was the intent, I know, when we signed on for the note and to help with that, it was the intent we'd be able to find some grant dollars and get at least down to the two schools there in the area.
That answers the question. If we can get to the new schools, that we have great revenue coming in from them.
And so that was the intent, but so far those grant dollars have been unfounded.
Seems like everybody gets them before we do.
Well, they've dried up to a large extent. I mean, we've gotten some other dollars, but it's been difficult to find anything that applies to that type of system, so we're gonna continue to look.
Yeah. Well, that's what we're doing. I mean, Alan stays on top of everything, and you're exactly right. He said everything just kind of drying up,
We
we still have to treat that water. We can't
have a
shut
legislative
restaurants down.
session now. I don't know if there's any way we could get some dollars in it. I don't know. We just have to see.
And I'm not sure where that kind of money comes from. Y'all will have to give me
That-
some
that's-
advice
that's
on
certainly,
that.
I would think that amount would be a budget item that we would look at in the budget. I understand we're gonna start looking at very shortly. Is that your request? I mean, you're not, obviously, we're not gonna act today to give $25,000. I wouldn't think we would,
And
but,
it's not 25 at one time either.
Right.
We can fix some things, and we've got, we have to use, Alan, what's the word we use to treat the light bulbs and stuff? We have to do, all the water goes out, and those bulbs are all broke. We can't even buy new bulbs, put back in, and that, we're out of violation by doing that.
Were those destroyed in this vandalism, or was that just something that happened over time?
No, that just happens over time. What vandalism, we have a valve that, we have 3 big tanks, if y'all notice when you drive through there, and somebody broke one of our valve handles off, and it's $5,000 to fix it. And then, we drive by today, and there's, in a big round tank, there's a round hole with water just flowing out. So somebody either stood in their plant and shot it with a gun, with a high-powered rifle, or stopped it on the interstate and shot through it. I mean, a tank splits, it doesn't just develop a round hole.
And you said you didn't have a fence and you weren't looking at that now, but
Oh, we need, well, when
sounds to
we,
me like there needs to be something.
well, we ran out of money. Fence was in our property, we just ran out of money, couldn't do it. But, people are stealing everything these days, trying to get scraps.
Have y'all reported each time?
Yeah, Alan called it
Okay.
in.
Uh-huh.
Did you call it?
The issues last week, I spent most of the day trying to fix the tank thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
But, it's hid back, where it's behind Marshall County, it's medical clinic down there in that little gully. When you get off at the exit ramp, you'll see it. It's a nice looking plant. I mean, but it's just, we used to have one air compressor motor, and now there's like 5 of them. So our electric's high, everything, our overhead is higher than it was when, and we have the same revenue.
Do you feel like you could use someone helping you look for these grants and help you with your management
Yeah.
on it? I mean, Bobby Gifford's been
We've
pretty
had
good.
Bobby's
Bobby's
been
expecting
looking.
him
He has a meeting this morning that he's gonna be here a little later on.
We got all of our bills, everything is all documented. I can hand you everything, have Bobby look at it. But that just, we have more going out than we got coming in.
And that's
It's-
absolute
it's the way
problem.
it is.
Yeah.
and that sounds to me like that has been a issue for several years, not just this year. And it also sounds to me like that the $25,000 is just a Band-Aid and not a, it's,
If we don't get to the high school and pick up that flow, it's gonna be 3 years down the road, we're gonna be coming back going,
And water's bad enough, but sewer systems are very expensive. I mean, you have to gravity feed to a point, and then you have to put in lift stations, which are very expensive. And, so. it's-
Randy, would any kind of camera system out there help in any way?
they stole our cameras.
Okay.
We just put some out there.
Well, the reason I ask is because we've got a system that was given to us by Walmart when they redone theirs, and it doesn't fit our needs, and it's just sitting in our office. If you wanna come down and look at it and see if it might possibly fit what y'all.
Okay, well, we will do that. Alan has those deer hunter cameras you put in the
Yeah.
woods, and they're missing now.
Well, these are actual hardwired
Okay.
that,
We can put it up on a pole, they
you can
couldn't
put
climb
it
up
up
and
somewhere,
get it.
right,
I'll
yeah.
take you up on that.
Okay.
I mean,
Well, it's just sitting in our office, cause we couldn't utilize it, and be more than glad to help you out there.
stealing, people are stealing extension cords, they're stealing anything they can see, but shooting a hole through there, that worries me.
Oh.
And
Yeah.
that worries me, so, that could have easily went all the way through the other one, and went into one of those apartments back there.
Mhm.
But, Bob, you're right, it's an ongoing thing, we gotta address it one day, or, it's just,
I understand.
I need line extensions. I've got enough capacity in the plant. I gotta get the lines down the highway, and we don't have the money to put the lines in the ground.
The only way we've been able to modify or do any improvements up at the District 1 was, of course, the park system goes into that system, and we were able to work with them to have them support the debt service for the loan. And that so far has, it's not, the work hasn't been completed yet, but it's on schedule to be. And so we'll just have to see how that goes. They're in the same situation. They have very, very little flow, small businesses. Anyway, it's difficult, but when you once put those systems in, it's difficult to go back. It's almost impossible, as a matter of fact, to go back, so.
We've been in negotiation with the school system about them sharing their part of getting the lines across the property to a lift station, and we've got to come up with the other, and we've got the plan put together, but it's just a struggle getting the two parties together. And,
Understand.
So that's the answer. We pick up the Christian Fellowship at Marsh County High School, and then we're good shape, but just getting down there to it, that's what is that, Alan, $2 million? $4 million to get down there. You wouldn't think it'd be that high to dig lines, put lines in there, and that's what the engineers said.
Well, I mean, you might be able to beat that a little bit, but I know sewer is extremely expensive.
So y'all think about it, if one of y'all would, contact me, let me know, or I'll contact y'all back, but, we're getting to a critical situation pretty soon if we don't do something, so.
Has it not been critical for the last several years?
Well, when we got a new plan, everything was just perfect. 5 years into it now, we're starting to have some pieces go bad, which are $4,000 or $5,000 items. And when we take a $4,000 hit, I can't even pay Alan.
Yeah.
I mean, he has to wait till I get more we get send bills out every 2 months, so I mean, he has to go without pay.
I'm just trying to refresh my memory if this is the same system that at one time, and I'm talking about several years ago, 7, 8, 10 years ago, the same problems were going on, and tried to give the system to the city of Benton, and tried to and I was involved in Calvert City, tried to give us the take over. So I mean the ongoing problem is my biggest concern, not the $25,000 Band-Aid to stick on it to stop the bleeding for a little while, but obviously we got a problem that needs to be addressed, and the solution I think I've heard is Marshall County school system tap on and as Bob said, the grant monies, they're not what they used to be,
Well, the problem with the scenario you said was nobody wanted to take an old plan. We got a brand new plan. I mean, we put $1 million into it, and it's up to date. It's just, I've got some problems going on with it, but I would assume somebody may look at taking it now, but I don't know.
I think one of those answers would be no, from what I understand, but I don't think anybody wants,
I'm coming to Calvert City. We're gonna talk to Roger.
well, he's a good one to talk to,
Oh, I know.
because Roger
He
knows
was
his
the one
stuff.
that designed the
He has been a major asset to
But,
Calvert City and the chemical industry and wastewater treatment and,
We don't need to be in the sewer business in Draffenville. We really don't. We need to it needs to be somebody bigger that's got more assets and that has tractors and things. We have to go pay somebody to do everything, and we're just a small
that's why I asked that question, because I assumed many years ago, and I'm not talking about 2 or 3 or 5, or I'm talking about way back when, that's been the case, but, so, that's my concern, that the $25,000, that Band-Aid is not gonna, that's all it is.
Yeah.
And it's not gonna last, and,
Not till
so
we get more
we've got a
problems.
bigger problem that we need to address than putting the Band-Aid on her.
I agree with him also. So we will start looking at the budget as we go into that. We will start looking into seeing if someone can come and work with you.
Okay. Thank y'all very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Is there anything else you want to discuss on that? Okay. We have Wendy Baxter going to give us a little report here.
I have 2 different things to report on this morning. Our Work Ready application has been submitted, and their presentation will be January the 20th. If any of the elected officials would like to go and watch that presentation, you're more than welcome. I think they're going to be at the high school about 7:45 that morning, and all ride together. And the presentation will be via conference from West Kentucky Tech to Versailles, which is where the committee will be. So that will be at 8:30 on the 20th, and Josh and a group of people from the school and different community members will all be attending that because I'm out of town. But Josh is going to go, and we met with the PAD office yesterday, and everything is good to go. So we are very confident in this application. We feel like we will hopefully get the certification for work ready. A lot of communities get work ready in progress, then work ready, but we just went straight for work ready, and so we feel like we will get this. We've been working on this for the last couple of years, and so that was submitted, and so we feel like we're going to get it this time. Also, I'm here to announce the fair, the Marshall County A&I Fair. I'm the chairperson of that. I wrote a grant back in September, and so we will be receiving a grant for $100,000 that will provide the fair with the new grandstands. I've spoke to the park board, Mike Miller Park Board, and we have intentions on leasing some property from the park, some of the new property that will eventually happen. And so we, in the future, hope to install that fairgrounds out there. The fair can have the space we need out there, and make the fair bigger and better than it has been. We're very appreciative of everything the city of Benton has done for us for many, many years, and we will have our fair there again in May. But in the future, we plan to move it to the county park. So we're excited about the new fair grandstands. I'm actually headed to Louisville as soon as this meeting is over to go get our check. So we're excited, and Jeff's on the fair board, and we've tried for this grant a couple different times, and so we finally got it just right for the future. So the work ready application, I've given a copy to Mel and Cheryl, and if you want to see that, you're welcome to see theirs, and if you have any questions, let me know.
When do you get your date yet for
The
A&I?
fair we do, it will be Memorial Day weekend again, so it'll start on Tuesday, I think the 23rd, I don't have a calendar in front of me, Tuesday to Memorial Day weekend.
Okay,
Will be our
It
fair.
coincides with the elections again.
Yeah,
okay.
so, but we'll work with Tim York on getting that primary election and the fair, because there's a voting booth, there's a voting precinct there where we have our fair, so.
Wendy, there, $100,000, that's specifically for the grandstands?
Yes.
That money is to be used for grandstands only? I mean, I don't know if Johnny's, I've heard a little bit about that, but probably sometime I would like to sit down with you, and I've just heard through the grapevine or coffee shops about, moving and so forth, and I would like to be brought up to speed on
Okay.
the project, because
We,
I don't know
me
what-
too, and
I don't know what Bob
congratulations
knows
on
or
getting the
Johnny
grant.
does, or even Cheryl knows about
Right.
where that is, or, the direction or the long-range plan to do so. But
Okay.
I would think this body needed to be informed.
we, there is a match, but it's all gonna be in kind, so, so there may be a very minimal cost out, but that's gonna come through the park board and their foundation of money, if there is any cash out. But everything else is in kind, so, but, yeah, we would gladly sit down, Jeff and Melanie and I are all on the fair board, so the three of us would be glad to sit down with you guys and kind of
Am I hearing you correctly that you're not anticipating asking this board for money?
No,
Okay, well,
no money.
that's different.
That's a first.
I've worked here for a long time, I know not to ask for money.
That's different, that's more palatable.
Oh, you just made him
I only
smile.
have positive things to say today, so, anyway,
That's
but,
why we need to be brought up to speed. I didn't know
right,
that.
so,
And we could always.
he doesn't wanna
use
talk to
the
us anymore,
park
we're not
board
asking
and
for
fair
money,
board too, if
so.
y'all
We
wanna
might ask
volunteer.
Russell for some time.
I'm gonna ask Russell for some time, but, I'll try to be gentle for a
And
little while.
we could always use new fair board members too, if y'all wanna show up and volunteer.
Yeah,
with us, put in some
absolutely.
Sweat equity out there.
I've got,
Hands in my lap.
I've got some mud you can stand in down there, or, so, but yeah, we would gladly sit down. Like I said, Mel and Jeff and I are all board members, and they've been around on the fair board a lot longer than I have, but we're excited about it, so, thank you very much.
Thank you, Wendy. Bobby Gifford has just come in, and he's got something to request from us.
Yes, I have a draw request. This is dealing with sanitation district number 1, the upgrade to the existing lift stations.
The request is for Paul Cloud Engineering, $5,470. And this will come out of the Delta Regional monies that I need to submit to the ad district. So the amount of the request again is $5,470, and it will come out of DRA.
Motion to approve, motion to approve payment.
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
On this project, we are getting ready to bid the rehab of all the existing lift stations. Paul is, I believe he told me within 2 weeks that we will put this to bid. I've just completed the application for the rehab of their plant to rural development. It'll probably be at least 6 to 8 months before that will go to bid, but we just settled on a budget price for that. The court has already taken action of where I'm gonna make this application from, and of course, that will all be paid by them, but it has to go through the court and that for us to be able to get the Delta Regional money, we had to have a partner to go in and finish the complete project, and those monies will come from rural development.
Any questions?
Your name was brought up a while ago.
Yes.
District 2 evidently is in desperate need of some help financially to get the piping down to the high school and the Christian Fellowship. I don't know, I know you've looked at that at some point.
Yeah, I went through their budget back years ago when the last project that was completed, I actually revamped their budget. I'd be glad to, is there a contact other than it's Alan or somebody else that I need to?
Randy Travis
Randy
was here.
Travis.
Randy,
They
On
were
behalf
here
of the board.
concerned about, they're gonna be needing some funds. They haven't picked up any additional customers, so the cost of operation has increased because of the,
was this part of the schools, making an extension out toward the
Yes,
schools?
that's what he says, that would basically make them whole, at least for the time being. They would have those customers would allow them to manage their finances adequately. So, I don't know.
The problem was the $4
I
million
thought it was
to
$4
get
million
there.
to move that pipe down there. I don't know if that sounds like a lot, but it may be.
Just something I have to
Yep.
take a look at.
Well, it might, if it's okay, I mean, if when you get some time, it might contact them and just it'd just be another small job for you.
Just a little more.
I thank you very much.
You're welcome. Is there anyone else that would like to appear before us this morning? Okay, we have no correspondence this morning, so we'll go right to old business. You have the minutes from the January 6th meeting. I would like to entertain a motion for those to be approved.
Motion to approve the minutes. Judge.
Second, from Mr. Bowman, Commissioner Bowman. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any disapproved? Motion carries. Commissioner Gold has something for us regarding Pirates Cove.
Well, no,
No?
I have not gotten there in daylight, so I haven't really seen what I need to see. So I will report later if that's okay with the court. I will get out there. I've been traveling and it gets dark quicker now, so I will,
Put that,
I
we'll
will
have
do
till
better.
February 17th.
Yep,
so
I'll do
maybe-
better.
I will put this out without saying a whole lot. That particular address, there is some involvement with my office, and that's probably why we're gonna kinda hold up on that.
Yeah, I spoke with Kevin about that, and I'm gonna
Yeah.
talk to him before I make any kind of report.
Okay.
I think with no zoning, obviously Marshall County does not have zoning. Calvert City and Benton, those two entities enforce zoning, but, and as Bob and I talked about before the meeting, that the majority of the people that live in Marshall County live there for a reason. They don't want zoning, and don't live in those incorporated areas but there comes a time that and not only the Pirates Cove, but the court's been addressing the Gilbertsville situation. It comes a time when it's no longer zoning, it's a safety issue or a health issue. And we've got, in this county, we have got numerous, these are not the isolated areas, and I think we're gonna have to sit down sometime and, address these are not, by far, not the only two that, need to be addressed. And, we're gonna have to do something about that down the road. I was at the, Refuge Department for their board meeting with Emily, when was that? Tuesday. And it's an ongoing problem, and it's something that I think needs addressing. This board needs to address for the future, not just those two situations.
I agree. We will address that in the future. I need to be brought up to speed on it, of course, because I've not been involved in any of those conversations. Is that all you need to say on that? Okay, anybody else? We'll go now to defensive driving course, and I think Emily Martin has some information on that.
Last meeting, we tabled this. We were gonna set a safety committee meeting, and because of the open meeting law, for you all to meet with the safety committee, not that you are not welcome to meet with the safety committee, but it would be a meeting. So, in lieu of that, I asked Jeff Thompson, he's, our safety and loss representative with CAECO, to come speak to y'all and to kind of let you all know the benefits of what the defensive driving course will offer and why it's important. So Jeff, if you don't care to give them a little insight.
Thank you for having me. Like I said, we had this scheduled, coming up. I guess we're gonna reschedule.
Yeah.
But it's a twofold benefit for the county to do the defensive driving class. I'm a certified instructor with the National Safety Council, and once you complete the class, it's a twofold benefit. Of course, CAECO likes for all employees that drive a county vehicle to take the class because it will make you a better driver. Also, the certificate that I issue from the National Safety Council has the bottom part you can tear off and take to your personal insurance, and some of them will offer you a discount for taking the class. So it's not only a benefit to the county, it can be a benefit to the employees. To kind of catch you up where we've been for probably the last year and a half, I guess, we've been meeting with the safety committee once it was formed. Initially, we looked at all the claims. We looked at both the CAF and the COP side. And once we looked at where we've been, we've just been looking at where we're going from there. And we try to meet quarterly-ish. And when we meet, all we look at is what happened from the time we met last time up to the present. What are those claims? Why did they happen? Is there anything that keep from happening again? And I work in 24 counties in this end of the state, and I have these safety committees in about 18 to 19 of them. And every county that we've implemented safety committees in, we've seen a decrease in the claims. So it helps to keep the department heads informed of what the claims are, how those claims affect the county. And bottom line is claims drive premium, and premium comes right out of the county budget. So anything you can do to lower your claims is going to be more money in your pocket come premium time. So with the court's approval, we'd like to try to reschedule the defensive driving class. And I would invite you all to come to the next safety committee to kind of get up to speed on where the claims
We've got to
are.
set the meeting still, so when we do, I'll call y'all or text you or email and then let you know when it is.
We did that, our next safety committee was scheduled for February the 11th.
Okay.
If you want to still
Yes,
try to.
that is in
February the 11th at 1:30
Where?
at the road department.
Can I ask this question, Jeff?
No.
'Cause,
Yeah.
okay, all right.
Okay, fair enough.
Since I have my own driving instructor with the sheriff's office, and we're one of the few that do driving every year, is that gonna count toward what you guys are doing? or do we have to go through your course? Because our driving is totally different than what your course is gonna be, and I'm sure it will cover a lot of the same things.
I only,
And-
out of my 24 counties, I only have 2 departments that goes to the extent that Marshall does in their driver training, so I would say your training would suffice.
Okay, because I didn't know if we were be eligible for that certificate to be able to do that, because I'd like to pass that along to my guys as well for their personal stuff.
But you're more than welcome for all of them to take.
Well, I mean, like I said, we do very extensive
Exactly.
during the summer
I've been-
months. is
I've
when
been
we
to
do
a
ours,
couple
yeah.
times, and I've seen it in
Didn't know if
action.
that would
Yeah.
count, or if we needed to go through yours to get that.
Well, you actually need to go through it, really, for me to issue the certificate.
Okay, that was my question. Okay. Is,
But I commend you on the training that you do already.
well, let me ask you this, how do you set the training up? Is it just a one-day thing? Because I can't send everybody to it.
It's a 4-hour class, and I usually get it done in about 3.5 hours. So, we split up, do 2 classes a day, and
That
however
would-
long it takes.
Yeah, we'd have to do that for me, because there's no way I could pull
We had,
everybody off.
we
and
had
do
2
that.
different days set up initially, so, and if we need to add a 3rd day, I mean, I'll do it whenever you need me to do it.
Okay.
And if we have to, I'll come do it just for your guys, if that makes it easier.
Well, I mean, just however works best, because like I said, I don't want us to cause the county not to get any kind of break on that, but I do know we do a different kind of driving than what your course probably offers, but I'd like for my guys to get that opportunity as well, so.
Well, as far as scheduling goes, we'll do as many days as we need to get
Okay,
everybody.
so if his guys can come to some of them can come to these days, you set dates, and then when it's all finished, then whoever's left, you could come and pick those up.
And that's the way it
That's
usually
fine.
ends up,
That sounds
because most
good.
counties, you'll have people off and people that
Yeah,
have to go do
yeah,
stuff.
I do the same thing.
Yeah,
If we have to wait till the end and do an extra class, we'll do that.
Well,
Whatever
if I've
takes.
got a schedule of it, I can make sure that my folks are there to get that done.
It sounds like this is a service that KCO provides for
There's
its members.
No cost to you
charge.
at all.
That's my understanding.
And I appreciate this. I think that's a great thing to be offering to our people, and we thank you for that.
Yeah.
I assume then that you all are gonna get together on your schedules, and you're getting with Melanie for the road department, and will we have the landfill in on this too? Okay.
Didn't you want a
You need a motion?
recommendation from
Yeah.
this group that
Okay.
to encourage the employees to participate?
Is that something we need to make a motion on this?
I think it's
Okay.
already been made, didn't you make
Well,
it?
go ahead.
Okay, so moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank
Any
you.
questions for me while I'm here?
Answered mine, yep.
I understand that out of your 24 counties, Marshall County is the top of the list, the best
premier
county,
county, yeah.
best county. Is that what I heard you say earlier?
Great. Great.
No, y'all are doing a good job, and like I said, since we've started the safety committee, we already see results, so I just say we continue on our journey.
Are our premiums gonna go down soon now?
Well, claims drive premiums, so if the claims are going down, the premiums
Well,
will
we
go
want
down.
some,
That's the way I heard it too, Sheriff.
saving some money there.
Yeah,
That's what I heard.
You still working on that discount, because we got those things?
yeah, still working on that one. Well, thank you.
Thank you very much. Is there any other old business anybody has for, other than this? Okay, we'll move on to new business. We have an email here from Larry Whit. He's not gonna be here at the meeting, but he would like to ask the court's permission to request mowing bids for the second week for February and open them at the following meeting. Does there need to be anything,
Well,
we need to take a vote on that?
I'd make a motion that we allow Larry to go ahead and look for mowing bids for his, it's for his parks all
For
around
the
the county.
parks.
Is that what it's for? I'm
Day
not up to
parks.
speed. I don't know about Johnny. I don't know.
Day
I don't
parks.
have any idea what
It's
you're
for
talking
the day
about.
parks all around the county. They bundle them together and they
I
go
can't
bid.
name all of them for you, but we can
Right.
get you a list of them.
Oh, I'm just not up to speed on.
I've got a list of them, I'm sorry.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Okay. Motion and second, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Russell York,
Yeah, we've got it in our budget this year to possibly purchase a new dump truck, and I'd like to ask permission to advertise for bids.
That's the one you contacted me on and said you spoke to them.
It's already in the budget.
Yes.
Yeah, we've got the funds
it's in the budget. Do you have any discussion you want to make on that?
We'll make a
before?
motion to go ahead and allow Russell to take bids on a new truck.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
What's the cost of that truck, Russell?
It's
Ballpark. I
probably.
mean, what do you got budgeted for it? Obviously, you got enough to pay for it.
Yeah, probably 100,
That's what you told me anyway. 100,000.
somewhere around in there.
Okay.
Emily has a treasurer's report.
As of December 31st, 2014, the general fund had a book balance of $881,824.56. Road fund, $240,262.25. Jail fund, $227,601.15. Grant fund, $7,413.77. 911 fund, $98,411.66. And occupational tax administrator, $2,026,182.89. And the veterans band fund, $1,272.68 for a total reporting funds of $3,482,968.96.
Do I hear a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
Make a motion to approve the treasurer's report subject to audit.
Thank you. Second.
Second.
All, motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And we have a treasurer's quarterly report.
These numbers reflect the same numbers as on the treasurer's report. Just to give you all a little bit more background, then, as this is the first quarterly report you all have seen. On the first page lists each fund individually, and the second page has a couple of more funds attached. You'll note on the bottom right figure is $3,482,968.96, which is the same number as on the treasurer's report. That is our total reportable fund. Those numbers should balance if you ever see, but they do not. Y'all need to mess over it and not approve
That's a
that.
red flag.
Yeah.
She gave me a little information on this yesterday. I'm gonna have another meeting with her.
Following that, the first 8 pages, this is a breakdown of where we at through our second quarter on receipts, and then the breakdown of the following 17 pages attached to that is a breakdown of where we are at on our expenditures.
I would entertain a motion to accept this report subject to audit.
Make that motion, Judge.
Is there a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Intra-fund transfers, Emily.
We're on encumbrance.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Excuse me.
Good. Our general fund had an encumbrance balance of $12,876.19. Road fund, $36,889.34. Jail fund, $15,865.93. 911 fund, $30.40, for a total of $65,661.86. And just to clarify, these are bills that are dated in December that are not being paid until January, so I need to account for those expenses on this quarterly report so that the Department for Local Government and you all can ensure that we did have those funds in place in December when we ordered those parts or whatever they may be, to make sure that we weren't floating any expenses, that we actually had money to pay for them.
Let me, while you're on that subject, you know, what the law reads before the outgoing court and the incoming court, then you have to have a certain
Yes.
percentage of so forth. And I noticed the road department was in excess of that. But obviously, it was okay, but it was explained to me because of, other departments could take up the slack and the overall,
Yeah, the statute
budget was
allows-
healthy.
Yeah, statute
Yeah.
allows for your general fund to absorb dollar for dollar any excess of the road fund. And the road fund's overage is mainly due to a lot of the grants that we've gotten and the road construction that we're doing at the hospital and, some of that additional, those grant monies that we've gotten, or we haven't actually received them yet, but we are working towards building those roads and things like that.
Plus having buy all the salt
Yes,
at one particular
salt.
time.
Okay, that was my question, and that was my assumption
Yeah.
that was the case, but that's not gonna be a problem, and,
No.
the figure we saw, it's gonna come out in the wash?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
I would entertain a motion to accept that report, subject
So
to
moved.
audit.
Second?
Motion made and seconded. All those in approve, say
Aye.
aye. All those opposed? Motion carries. Now we can do the interest. Thank you.
Asking your, permission to move from the occupational tax fund to the road fund, $250,000, to the jail fund, $150,000, and to the 911 fund, $31,250, for a total of $431,250. These are all budgeted subsidies that are already allocated for in the budget.
So moved.
Second?
Motion made and seconded, subject to audit, to approve this. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. And budget appropriation. Budget appropriation.
Our appropriation transfer report, this report lists, line items that have gone over, or either have gone over, or I anticipate that they will go over, so we are shuffling money around within those budgets. I'm not taking any funds from any reserves or anything like that, it's all from within that department's budget. Just shuffling their funds as to how they needed those shuffled throughout the year.
Do you have any questions?
Those, and they do, you'll note that they need to balance out, needs to move from one to the other, so they balance out to zero, so, and this report also gives you an ending balance after that transfer.
Do you have any questions on that, gentlemen?
Motion to approve the budget appropriation transfers.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, motion made and seconded to approve those, subject to audit, and all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, gentlemen, we need to go into executive session for personnel and a property acquisition.
Make a motion, we go into executive session.
Is there a second? Motion made and seconded. All those approve say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? We are adjourned until we're through with it. We'll call the meeting back to order. Jeff's gonna give us a little bit of,
Court met in executive session and had discussion on a property acquisition issue, which at this point, no formal action's being taken, and also that they discussed a personnel issue which will probably be addressed by the next meeting.
and Emily has a little discussion right here for
Yeah,
us.
I wanted to let y'all know, it was budgeted to remodel the fiscal courtroom, part, and I wanted to, I guess, ask y'all's, permission, approval, as part of doing that. The flooring is much cheaper if we purchase a greater amount. Judge's office is in need of new flooring. Tony is replacing some of his, he pays for his own flooring. We were talking about doing the old fiscal courtroom, has got carpet about this age, we thought we could do that room. And then the office where Sean and Bobby are now, where those offices, for all, this room and all of those rooms, the total bill was $16,000. When we quoted just this room about a year and a half ago, this room alone was 10,000, so.
How much?
10,000. So it's considerable cheaper, cause that's a lot of square footage that we're talking about. Tony's space is probably this size.
That's just material.
That's just material, taking.
County
marketing.
labor's doing it. So.
Yes, yes, yes. So we have 15,000 budgeted for this remodel, is what we had budgeted for this remodel,
For this
for
remodel?
this room.
Okay.
I can separate that flooring out, and I feel like I've got a audio video guy coming in tomorrow to set up, to give us a quote on what those expenses will be. Tech and Brock has got us a quote on new ceiling tiles, those will run about $1,600. Our plans are to add off of the old historic desk up there, move the jury box over. So, I think we will be right at that $15,000 point. We're gonna watch everything and keep it as close as we can. But we also have another area that we budgeted $15,000 for courthouse repairs. So, I can take that has 12,000 still left in it. I can take the remainder of that flooring out of there. We also have a capital projects line that has quite a bit of money in it, and obviously, we wanna keep this as minimal as we can. We're not intending on spending a whole lot of money, but we wanna make it look nice at the same time.
But it will tie into the centennial also.
Yes, and that's kind of the purpose of doing it now, is to get it ready for the centennial celebration as well.
What do you need?
I guess I just want permission to proceed with that plan, and if any time we're gonna go over budget, we'll come back to you, or, if we need to regroup about something. I feel like we will be able to stay as close to in budget as, very close to in budget. Depends on what that audio video quote comes in at. I don't know a lot about that kind of stuff.
That would be taking all the flooring in that you're talking about, and the audio video for in here, and all the things you talked about, and coming out of either the budget for
This
this,
remodeling budget for in here.
and then the
The other flooring, I'll probably take out of that repairs
budget, and we've also got some in capital, but we don't
Yeah,
wanna dip
I
into
don't
it.
intend to get into that.
Okay.
When you talk about the flooring here and cheaper by the, the bulk, Sheriff's Department, the detention center, are we responsible for those floorings and so forth? This body is right here. I didn't pay a bunch of attention. Kevin's got a little shortage of room down there and boxes everywhere, and I didn't pay much attention, but
Couldn't see the
I know
floors.
the detention center, the jail, the main offices up there, yeah, that's worse than anything that I've seen in this building. And when we're addressing
We're in
that,
good shape.
you're
As
in
far
good
as flooring,
shape?
Yeah, we're in good shape as
Or
far as flooring
they
goes.
are not. Can somebody, and if it's, cheaper by the dozen, can somebody
And-
check
and-
over there with Roger or Lori to?
Yeah, as far as
I mean,
the-
that,
Well, it's,
it's not pretty over there. They
Yeah.
need.
Do they have their own
they
budget
need-
though for that, or does that come from here?
I believe they do.
But my question is,
Yeah.
we are responsible for that.
Yes,
And,
yes, yeah.
well, I would like to, somebody to take a look,
Mm-hmm.
Gary to go there and if he's gonna be responsible for doing that, to see what, to add that
Mm-hmm.
office space over there, because it needs something bad.
Yeah,
I mean,
and we're
bad.
looking at bringing tile in and getting rid of the carpet. It'll be similar,
Smart
very
move.
similar to the tile. It's a thing that's a
Smart
tiny
move.
bit shade different than what's out here in the hallways, what it'll be.
Yeah, before you do that, does anybody have any problem with
No, we can look at adding that in if we,
just adding
Okay.
that? I mean, I don't think you're talking about, since you're,
I think it'll
trying
just
to
be, and not that we can't do it anyway. I'm sure that it's in their
Right.
budget and can be done anyway. If they want a different product, the reason why
That's what I
we're
was just gonna
putting
check
all
on. I'll
of this
check it.
everywhere, same product, is why it's discounted.
Right, that's what,
Yeah, so
that's
if
what
they're
my
good with
thinking
this,
too.
that's fine. If they're not.
But you're talking about tile instead of carpet?
Yes,
Tile, what kind? The kind that's in Tony's office upstairs?
yes, like.
The same,
what's
so
out
I
there.
looked at it, I saw it, what Gary showed me the other day when I was there.
Very, very, very good.
Okay, I just didn't know for their, sometimes for their purpose, and, it's a no-no,
Dick's really
you know.
looking forward to moving this year
Right,
too.
yeah.
He done told me.
Okay. But we can look at that, okay?
Has this already been covered in another?
I don't really think we need a motion because it's in budget. Just a discussion, wanna let y'all know what we're doing and make sure that nobody has any
Okay,
issues
you're not
with it.
asking for permit, you're, okay.
Yeah.
But you are gonna order in bulk.
I'll bring it.
Well, before you order in bulk, or
So
whoever
they
does
are.
that. that's
Well,
what
she's
they
keeping us
copyright.
informed.
Yeah,
Okay, it seemed like a question.
Well, if you order very much more, you're gonna hit $20,000.
yeah.
Yeah.
So you have to be aware of that.
Okay, if we're through with that, if we are, I think we need to approve payment of the bills. I need a motion.
Make a motion to pay the bills.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. I would entertain a motion to
Motion to
adjourn.
adjourn, Judge.
One
Second.
thing,
Oh, wait a minute.
yeah,
Oh,
one
I'm
thing,
sorry.
no, it's okay, I just wanted, we canceled our 911 board meeting this morning for obvious reasons. But I'd planned on bringing this to you after we met, and I don't think it's gonna be an issue, but we've got a new radio system at 911. Okay, I'm the chairman of that board. And to reuse and to help out, I think Frank is looking at a backup EOC in conjunction with CFSB. So our board, I don't think will have any problem in approving this, and what we're gonna do is just more or less that old system, turn that over to Frank to let him install that there, so we've got a backup in case something was to happen here to where we could still operate. The equipment that we're taking out, the reason we're taking it out, it's outdated, but it still works and is in good shape. And if we was to try to do an auction or anything, we're not gonna get anything out of it, and I feel like if the county can still utilize and benefit from it, why not do that?
Where is it gonna be installed?
I think there is somewhere, and Frank has been working with CFSB in an office up there to have a backup up there in case something was to happen to this building to where we couldn't operate out of it.
Right.
So, just wanted to let y'all know that. I mean, like I said, our board's gotta approve it, but I don't see any problems with that happening. Just wanted to let you know
I
that.
like to hear that. Obviously, it can be used in this county. It's a whole lot more palatable to donate it to an entity in this county that is in, you know,
Well, you can
Indianapolis,
surplus it,
Indiana.
yeah, right, they won't bring.
It won't bring anything, but it can still be used. It's still usable and good equipment, because that's obviously what we've been using until now.
Very good.
Very good. I think we had the
Got a
motion to.
adjourn.
And I have a second now.
Got a second.
All right, everybody say yay.
Yay.
Let's go home.